Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly market view for Monday, the 17th of June, 2024 to Friday, the 21st of June, 2024. My name is Vishal. Let's get started. All right, so let's start with the analysis on the indices. And before we start, we always start with the Nifty, but what I'm planning to do today is I'm planning to do things a little differently, where I'm going to be first and foremost going to be talking about the India Wix. So let's quickly open the India Wix chart and let us see where and what the India Wix is doing currently. Okay, so this is the daily chart of the India Wix. And as we can see that the election results took the India Wix all the way up towards the 32% handle. And thereafter, price reacted from this weekly supply zone and price started to move to the downside. So the VIX has cooled down significantly, and currently we are trading at the 13% handle. Now, I do believe in the days to come, there is a possibility of the VIX going slightly below. So it might either turn from this area and start moving up, or it might go a little further and start turning to the upside. And in case if that happens, then there is a very, very high possibility of seeing a potential correction in the market because the VIX and the Nifty and the indices are inversely correlated. So this is something that people don't really talk about, but on the basis of demand and supply, VIX is currently within a daily demand. And there is a possibility that we could expect to see a corrective move coming into the Nifty, Bank Nifty, and the other indexes. Now let's look at the Nifty chart. And in fact, let's look at all the charts. And we will try and understand or gauge from the fact that look at how the markets are moving. So every day the markets are consolidating and there is a gap up. Even today, there was a gap up, markets consolidated, came down first, and then again started moving. Now, if you look at the key open interest levels on the chart, and let me just point out those levels over here. So let me just remove all the tools. Yeah. So the key levels of open interest on the Nifty, the first level is the 23,800 level, and the next level is the 24,000 level. So these two levels are going to be the key resistances on this market. And maybe in due course of time, if there is any big move that is to come, then that move will only and only come after the prices breach 24,000. So till 24,000 and 23,000 to the downside, market is expected to trade in 1,000-point range for this week and maybe for a couple of weeks. At least that is what the open interest data and Nifty charts are showing, right? Nifty is making an all-time high. So there are no supply zones on the Nifty chart. Let's move on to the Bank Nifty. Let's try to gauge what is the potential range for Bank Nifty for this week. So this is the daily chart of Bank Nifty. And as you can see, as we are coming closer to this area, we are seeing a little bit of consolidation that is taking place here. Now, because India VIX is also into a level of demand, this consolidation that is taking place might lead to a corrective move to the downside. If the correction does happen, then we might see 49,000 and 48,500 acting as a strong support for the Bank Nifty. And to the upside, we have 50,500 and 52,000, which is going to be acting as a strong resistance. So if you look at the overall movement of Bank Nifty is expected to be range bound between 48,500 to 52,000 levels, which is a pretty significant range, at least for a weekly expiry. Let's move on to the Nifty Financial Services. So the Nifty Financial Services chart is very similar to the Bank Nifty chart, but as you can clearly see over here that, let me just refresh the graph. Yeah, so here we can clearly see that 22,550 is acting as a strong support and the resistances are above at 22,700, 22,900 and 23,000 is acting as the strongest resistance for the market based on the open interest data. So what is expected of Fin Nifty for this week? We are expecting Fin Nifty to be range bound between 22,550 to 23,000, which is again a pretty wide range of 500 points. But that's where we are expecting the Fin Nifty to be range bound for this week and probably for the next week. Let's move on to the next index, which is the mid cap index. And if you look at the mid cap, again, the mid cap, after giving this very strong dip on the election results day, we saw a nice recovery of the mid cap. And now, based on the OI data, 12,000 is acting as a very, very strong support. And there is a possibility that this trend might continue to the upside. If the India VIX starts pushing to the upside, then we might see a little bit of a correction. And this area of demand is going to be an important area of demand. Reason being is it was responsible to remove this level of supply, and any move coming into this area might trigger a continuation to the upside. So we just need to keep a close watch on this demand zone 11,767 to 11,582. And what we are expecting is that we are expecting the price to pull back to this level and then start moving again to the upside towards 12,400 and 12,500 odd levels. If you look at the Sensex chart, again, making an all-time high, but again, consolidating here. And we've just managed to close right at 77,000 odd levels. And here you can clearly see that 76,000 is acting as a support. And this has also been a resistance for the market, which is now acting as support. So now this consolidation, depending again on how the India VIX reacts, if the India VIX reacts strongly from this level of demand, then we might see Sensex also correcting towards this area of demand. And then possibly it might consolidate here before continuing its move to the upside. To the upside, 78,000, 79,000, they are going to be acting as stiff resistance for the Sensex. So keep a close watch on these key levels for the week to come. If you look at Bankex, again, Bankex, Bank Nifty, they are more or less behaving in the same manner. Here we can clearly see that 57,000 is acting as a strong support for this market. Now prices are trading slightly below that, but again, things might change in the weeks to come. On above, we have this supply zone, but again, a little lower probability, taking into consideration that this was caused because of the election news. So we do have a lot of resistance within this area. So seems like markets may not be able to break this area convincingly. And also the fact that the India VIX is in a level of demand, who knows that although this is a low probability supply zone, it might still play out because of the fact that the VIX is in demand. So we'll keep a close watch on this supply zone for this week to see how the India VIX reacts to that demand level, and then possibly some positions can be created in the market. All right, now let's move on from the Bankex to some of the heavyweights here. So let's start off with Reliance, and let's look at Reliance on a slightly with a larger perspective. So this is the daily chart of Reliance, and as you can see, the Reliance has just been consolidating in a very, very wide range. 3,000 is acting as a strong resistance for Reliance, and 2,800 is acting as a strong support. So in the days to come or in the weeks to come, 3,000 to 2,800 will be the range on Reliance. Let's move on to HDFC Bank. So that's going to be another. So HDFC Bank has actually moved very nicely from that monthly level of demand, which we have been speaking for quite a while. And in the past sessions, I have also been saying that it was not a good time to go or to sell HDFC Bank, but because we were more or less likely to see a bounce, and we can see that strong bounce coming in, which is also taking the Bank Nifty to the upside, considering that HDFC is one of the heavyweights in the banking sector. And now what we are seeing on HDFC Bank is we are more or less coming closer to that weekly level of supply. So once price gets here, we need to be a little careful on the long trades, because there is a possibility that around 1650 and 1700 levels, these are the areas where profit booking might come in on the HDFC Bank stock. So just be a little cautious. Now is not the time to get in or not the time to buy HDFC Bank. But if you have bought it at these lower levels over here, maybe this is a price point where maybe you can think about taking some profits if you're already long on this trade. All right, let's look at Infosys and let's see what Infi is up to. So if we look at Infosys, let's start off with the daily chart first. And if you look very closely, last week we had spoken about the Nifty IT sector reacting from a potential supply level. And now you can see that this strong move on Infosys has just stalled right or slightly before this area of supply, which tells us that there could be a lot of unfilled orders sitting in this area. So what we need to watch is, do we get a break of this supply, then a retest and a continuation, or does price starts or begin to start falling from this area itself? Right now, on the basis of the open interest data, 1540 is going to be acting as a strong resistance, and 1400 is going to be acting as a strong support for Infosys. So pretty much this is it from me for this week. I hope you enjoyed the analysis. If you do like our channel, hit the subscription button and do give your valuable comments in the comment section. And hopefully we will see you all next week once again with some ideas. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely week. Trade safe, trade well. Bye-bye.
This should not be treated as a recommendation. Please conduct your own analysis or consult a financial advisor before investing.